Reznov! Freedom! For you, Mason! Not for me! Reznov!
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today was Greek Easter, so I didn't end up streaming like I usually do on Sundays, but I'll be back next Sunday for another event that I've had planned, and hopefully you guys can make it. But tonight, we're going to be talking about upcoming content, free DLC packs, and some spicy Activision news. Definitely stay tuned. But before I jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and let me know real quickly in the comments, when do you guys want to see a Black Ops 2 remaster? Should it be in the next year or two, or should it be in 2025, which will line up with when Black Ops 2 takes place? Want to hear your feedback down below, since today was the 9-year anniversary since Black Ops 2 has released, which is insane to think about. I think at some point in time, Treyarch will eventually remaster that game, at least the campaign, maybe not the multiplayer. But starting off with an update on the Hunt for Adler event, Raven did confirm that from now until the end of Season 3, if you just boot up Warzone, you will gain access to the Tortured and Rescued Adler skin for free. So you don't have to do any of the challenges from the Hunt for Adler event, and you'll still get the skin. So what I'm confused about is the fact that the Hunt for Adler event was fairly broken for the first, 4 or 5 days of that event, and they ended up fixing the issues with the event, but for some reason didn't extend the event itself, which had me wondering. I'm like, wait, why did they fix the Warzone contracts? They weren't going to extend the event, they just released the skin for free. So I'm like, that's a bit strange, right? It reminds me of Blackout, when at one point in time during the Battle Royale experience, by doing character missions through little quests, you would unlock all of the specialists for multiplayer, but then after, a couple of months, they just released all those specialists for free. So all that hard work having to unlock those characters pretty much went down the drain. But if you still did those character unlocks in Blackout, you would unlock the numbers outfits for the specialist, so they gave you something for doing those missions. But I'm like, why just release it all for free? Had to be something behind the scenes that went wrong, where they're like, alright, we just gotta drop the skin, something happened. But it could have been a little bit easier to just extend the event by 2-3 days, so that if you didn't own Black Ops Cold War, you could then do the challenges in Warzone. Who knows what happened? Maybe another event is planned for this season, as I talked about in a previous video, so they just couldn't extend this event for some reason. I don't know what the reason could have been. But we also have a free combat pack which released for PlayStation Plus users, and it's available for use in both Black Ops Cold War and Warzone. Comes with a skin for Garcia, an FFAR blueprint. We then have a calling card, a charm, watch, and emblem. So the way I found it is by going to the PSN store and just searching Black Ops Cold War, and it came up right away. When I searched combat pack, it just wouldn't come up right away for some reason, but hopefully you guys take advantage of this one. I mean, there's some pretty cool bonuses they released for PlayStation Plus users. They did this last year with Modern Warfare by releasing small packs that came with some interesting looking skins and, some other cosmetic items, and these are always worth downloading. Why not? It's free. Go ahead and do so when you guys get a chance. And we also have an update from the Ghost of Modern Warfare 2, who did claim that a night variant of Diesel, the brand new multiplayer map in Black Ops Cold War, will be coming at some point during the mid-season update. And again, not confirmed, take it with a grain of salt, but Diesel is of course right now available in Gunfight, so 2v2. We then have it in Face-Off 3v3, and even other 6v6 modes. So it's cool that it's available for many different variants and modes in Black Ops Cold War, but it's ripped straight out of the campaign from one of the side missions where you get to visit this area at night. And it reminds me of Sanatorium Night in Outbreak, where Treyarch's like, let's put a twist on this map for a certain mode in the game by changing the lighting, changing the weather. So this is great. I mean, hopefully we end up seeing a night version very soon. But I'm also curious, since Diesel does support Gunfight, Face-Off, and the regular multiplayer modes, will Diesel be added into Containment Onslaught or regular Onslaughts? Maybe even both. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but by the mid-season update, I'd assume that Treyarch will end up adding in at least Containment Onslaught for Mansion, maybe Diesel as well, but hopefully Containment Onslaught isn't an LTM as they previously suggested. The mode allows you to play Onslaught on the Gunfight maps. Why get rid of that? But you never know what's going to happen because of the PlayStation exclusivity. We'll just have to wait and see. But also from the same account, they revealed Diesel Knight, the Ghost of Modern Warfare 2. He's actually been sharing new images of the Ural Mountains Battle Royale experience. Can't show you the images on screen for obvious reasons. Maybe check the description if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, the map itself definitely is done to an extent, and like I suggested in the podcast recently, if Fireteam Elimination, which is being able to play Battle Royale on the Fireteam maps, if that is successful by the time that releases later in Season 3, wouldn't be surprised if Activision says, you know what, let's go ahead and drop that map as a bit of an experiment in either Black Ops Cold War or Warzone. They dropped that map in Black Ops Cold War. Could it be a conflict of interest where it takes a bit too much attention away from Warzone itself? it might not affect it too much. So Activision might say, you know what, it's more content, we'll just release it. It'll essentially provide a quote-unquote Blackout 2 inside of Black Ops Cold War. Or maybe they're like, you know what, let's just port this over to the Modern Warfare engine and have you be able to play the Ural Mountains in Warzone. I mean, because of the Season 3 intro cinematic, even as the Gaming Revolution suggested a couple of days ago, we're like, wait a second, the Ural Mountains are confirmed to be right next to Verdansk now. I mean, geographically, in real life, probably doesn't make sense, but in the Call of Duty universe, that's what's going on here. So the Ural Mountains are literally, well, a couple of clicks away from Verdansk, as you can see Stitch pointing out over in the cutscene. So I'm like, okay, that could give us a good sign the Ural Mountains could release one day, or even being able to see Outbreak played on Verdansk as well. I mean, the Zombies Outbreak could easily spread from, you know, the Ural Mountains locations to a couple of clicks away in Verdansk. That could definitely work, so I think that alone kind of signifies that, yeah, Ural Mountains may still play a large role in the future of either Black Ops Cold War or Warzone. But then we have an update from the other Modern Warfare 2 ghost, or the ghost of Modern Warfare 2, who works with Modern Warzone. He is claiming that at one point he did hear from reliable sources that Modern Warfare 3 Campaign Remastered was going to drop in Q2 thanks to a deal with PlayStation. And this had me a bit skeptical, because I'm like, look, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered did release in Q2 of last year, 2020, so I think releasing Modern Warfare 3 up at the same point makes a lot of sense, but we haven't seen it yet. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 came out in what, early to mid-March? And we're already in May, so will they be saving this Modern Warfare 3 Remaster for the summer, or a better time when that could be useful? I mean, they didn't release Modern Warfare 2 Remastered because Call of Duty was down bad or anything. Warzone had just come out when Modern Warfare 2 Remastered did, so Call of Duty was already at a peak at that point. So I'm assuming they're waiting for maybe a bit of a downtime, maybe at some point in Season 3. It would be a bit poetic, right, to see Modern Warfare 3 during a Season 3. Maybe that's what's going to happen, but without a doubt, it's just going to be a campaign remaster, because, you know, Activision is contractually obligated to release the remastered trilogy of Modern Warfare according to a deal with PlayStation. So once that releases, I'm assuming a few months after that we'll end up seeing a trilogy bundle for all of the campaigns of Modern Warfare. And I'm not sure how the game's gonna run though, because Modern Warfare 2 Remastered was already a bit outdated, because it was made, I think, in 2018 using the Modern Warfare 1 Remastered engine, if I'm not mistaken. So how's that going to look on PS5? A bit outdated? Are they going to enhance it? Are they going to enhance the first two Modern Warfare remasters for PS5? I'm just not sure, but we'll have 30-day exclusivity once it releases as well. It'll be available first on PS4 and PS5, and then available a month later on Xbox and PC. Again, that's an old deal that was made with PlayStation back in, I think, 2016 for the first Modern Warfare remaster, so that deal is still in effect to this day and has not expired whatsoever. We then got an interesting update from Activision that does affect the industry quite a bit, and you guys may have heard about this, but apparently we have all developers on deck now working on Call of Duty. So it was confirmed that Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Raven, Sledgehammer, Beanox, High Moon Studios, and now Toys for Bob, along with Activision Shanghai and Demonware, are now all working on Call of Duty. Not just one Call of Duty, but I would say the entire franchise, whether it's a Treyarch title, an Infinity Ward title, a Sledgehammer title, or even just Warzone. All of these devs are on deck working on these games. But the thing about this is that Toys for Bob was, I believe, working on Crash and some other Activision titles. So what happens to the other franchises that Activision had going? Now that every developer that works under Activision is working on Call of Duty, what happens to some of the other games that had sequels in the works, remasters? I mean, do they have small teams still working on some of those games? Or is Activision like, you know what, Call of Duty's our baby, it's the moneymaker, let's put all of our time and resources into just this one franchise? I'm not sure how this is going to work, but could this affect future Call of Duties in a positive way, where you have many more developers on deck, you have more cooks in the kitchen that can allow for a greater output of post-launch content? Could that be the case, or could it have a negative effect where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, too many ideas being thrown around, too many devs to juggle across for certain components of the game, and then boom, the game just doesn't do as great? I mean, I want to hear your thoughts on this in the comments, but it still looks like we're on a 3-year development cycle with Call of Duty, with 3 active leaders, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer, with support studios including Raven, Beanox, High Moon, now Toys for Bob, some other studios. But, you know, they could have had this under control. It might not change things too much, but the question is, why did Activision choose to do this now? Could it be because of the pandemic? I mean, I know the vaccine's out, but devs are still working from home, so development is still a bit slow on their end for some of these major releases. they might need the extra hands, so I get it, but I'm just concerned about the other games some of these studios had in development. Could those games be put on shelves now for years to come? I mean, when will the studios transition back to working on some of the other games they had going? I mean, maybe Activision's like, you know what, Call of Duty is the focus right now, we're at a peak, let's keep the momentum going, let's not lose focus because of these other games that might not make as much money. So that's probably what's going on at the moment, but it's just real interesting news to hear. We have so many studios working on one franchise alone, but we then got a hint from the man himself, Call of Duty Hope, who said that another big Warzone map is in development. It'll be a major release, but it's unclear if it's on the same scale as Verdansk or same scale as Rebirth. He's not sure when it's going to drop, but if I had to guess, this is probably for World War II Vanguard, unless there's another map in development to line up with Treyarch's Warzone revamp. I mean, it's unclear because what we all thought to begin with was that Treyarch's Warzone would be the Ural Mountains, and it was that at one point, but now it transitioned from that to just a Treyarch Cold War revamp of Verdansk. And Verdansk hasn't changed too much, right? The lighting's a bit different. I mean, the map feels a bit smoother, looks a little bit better, and only has a few new points of interest. But what about a full-scale Treyarch Warzone experience? Could we ever see that? Maybe. Rebirth technically counts, but it's really a reskin of Alcatraz from Blackout, even though it is themed all around Black Ops Cold War. I get that. Maybe Treyarch is working on another Warzone map. If not, then maybe we are going to get a World War II Vanguard Warzone revamp after all, even though it was suggested by many insiders in the past that we're not going to see a weapons integration with World War II, at least not right away, and we're also not going to see a World War II themed Warzone map at some point in 2021, but plans may have changed. Activision might have said, you know what, it's probably worth revamping Warzone at least once a year whenever a new Call of Duty is out. But could it even be the developers polishing and refining the Ural Mountains experience, all the Fireteam locations combined? Could that map still release at some point in either Black Ops Cold War or Warzone? Like I said earlier in the video, I think depending on the success of Fireteam Elimination, which releases during Season 3 Reloaded, that can determine if Activision's gonna say, you know what, alright, now Fireteam's doing well, might as well release this big-ass map in either Cold War or Warzone. That could always happen, but at the end of the day, if it's not that map being worked on right now, I'm not sure what the map could be. Could it be for World War II? Could it be for Black Ops Cold War? I mean, nobody knows, but I definitely think Season 6 could end off with a bang to wrap up the Black Ops Cold War season, and they could just drop the map as a bit of a surprise for hardcore fans out there in either Black Ops Cold War or Warzone. You never know. But also an update from the man himself, Nanikos. He went ahead and tweeted that he has an update on something that he tweeted a month or so back. As of Season 3, it appears a new Mega Barrel variant has been added based on the Megaton's attack. Can't confirm fully though because the weapon doesn't actually give you a name when you hold it. He even posted a clip of it which I can't show you on screen, but his Twitter is linked down below. As a bit of a recap, the Mega Barrels are something new that got added to zombies, I think during Season 2 at some point. Essentially, they were attachments for any weapon in game, and the attachment itself is like the arc from Extinction, where once you shoot with this Mega Barrel, it will shoot out one of the attacks of some of the bosses in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, which could have been electricity from a Tempest, the acid from a Megaton, I mean the blaster from a Mangler, and so many other abilities. But the Mega Barrel itself is a bit of a placeholder for what could be an actual wonder weapon that doesn't have a model right now, so we could end up seeing actual wonder weapons to shoot out the attacks of some of these heavy bosses in game. Because there isn't a model for any of those variants, right now it just spawns in a Mega Barrel on an XM4, so just a placeholder. Who knows what that's going to mean, but I'm assuming for the Outbreak main quest, which is dropping this season, we'll end up being able to craft some of these different type of wonder weapons to shoot out enemy boss attacks. So let's see how that ends up working, but I'm assuming this is not for the Berlin DLC 2 Zombies experience. It has to end up being for the Outbreak Easter egg if I had to guess. But last and definitely not least, as you guys can see, we got a win over in the Gunfight tournament. We played pretty well. We got some great final clips, some awesome clutches, and managed to win the entire thing in about 2 to 3 attempts. It didn't take as long as the first Gunfight tournament for whatever reason, but as I talked about in the first Gunfight tournament, what's important to remember now is that Gunfight isn't all about skill. It may seem that way sometimes, but there's a lot of luck and timing involved in Gunfight that doesn't always reflect the skill of a player. Sometimes a player might not be better than you, but you get the upper hand because of a shitty loadout it gives you at the beginning of a round, or they're camping on a head glitch, or they turn the corner at the perfect moment when you weren't looking. I mean, so many things could happen in Gunfight that don't reflect how good a player actually is. And that's the hard part about it, is that it doesn't matter how good you are, sometimes you just can't win that round. Things don't always go your way, and that's multiplayer in general for any Call of Duty. But when it comes to Gunfight specifically, the pressure is on. I get it. But when it comes to this tournament specifically, you're going to be playing on Diesel, KGB, ICBM, and then Diesel once again. Whereas in the first Gunfight tournament, it was, Mansion, Game Show, U-Barn, then Mansion again. So I love the rotation of different Gunfight maps that it gives you for this tournament. I'm assuming in the third tournament, they'll end up doing a mix and match of both of the first tournament's maps. We'll just have to wait and see, unless there are plenty of other Gunfight maps to release by the time the next tournament rolls around in about a couple of weeks. Who knows? But another thing to remember about Gunfight is definitely take advantage of the equipment that you have, whether it's C4s, flashbangs, smokes, decoys are a big help to really confuse the enemies. And also, as the enemies are going to be playing, like, sit on head glitches sometimes, right? Sit on some of them, it'll give you an upper hand whenever an enemy rolls across your screen. Take advantage of those. They're going to be doing that, so might as well do it as well. And also play it slow. I mean, watch your corners, don't rush too hard, stay by your teammate in case you want to get a trade. I mean, there's a lot of good tips you can get for Gunfight, but I think communication is the biggest part about it. I mean, if you don't communicate, I'm not sure how you're going to win this, but I've seen people win a Gunfight tournament with no communication, no headset, playing with randoms in a lobby. Sure, it's possible, but it's obviously a lot more fulfilling and more rewarding when you do it with a teammate that you're comfortable with. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Give you a nice preview of the Hauer shotgun skin you get for beating this second Gunfight tournament. As a reminder, if you didn't beat the first Gunfight tournament and you beat the second one, you'll still get the rewards from the first one, which was a couple of different cosmetics and of course a skin for the AK-47. But if you beat the Gunfight tournament twice with the new one, then you'll get both sets of rewards that just released. But also let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on some free DLC cosmetics? How do you feel about upcoming content coming to both Black Ops Cold War and Warzone? What are your thoughts on the spicy Activision news about many developers being on deck for the entire Call of Duty franchise? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everyone.